What's going on, guys? Kevin here to bring you a brand new video today. Today we're going to be going over the movie that we watched for day 10 of Horror October. And the movie that we went with this time ended up being Dario Argento's Inferno. This is quite the film, and I feel like some people wouldn't expect me to watch this, and this may come as like a surprise that I watched this. It's definitely like the most like obscure, like niche titles that I've watched like so far, I'd say. So Inferno is not to be confused with the movie based on the book by Dan Brown. Not that book, not that movie. This is a movie by Dario Argento that is part of a series of 3 movies called the Three Mothers Trilogy. The first of which being Suspiria, which I have seen, Inferno, which is this one, and Mother of Tears, which I haven't seen. So now I have seen this one after watching Suspiria. And I gotta say, I really, really like this film. As far as like structure wise and like how it was made, it's just that when you try to like really wrap your head around this movie's plot, it gets a little like, oh, okay, wow, like Jesus. But like overall, the movie is really well made, like through and through, all the way through, and I really enjoyed it. You know, with that being said, it is like gruesome for a lot of it, and it's very like ruthless with like the killing and whatnot, so it doesn't like hold back in that regard, I will say. But no, I liked it. This movie a fairly good amount, I'd say. I think it's not as good as Suspiria, I would say. It's not quite that level, but it is pretty good. So I want to attempt to explain what was going on in this movie and like what it all meant. So essentially, it starts off with this girl, well, 2 different girls find this book called The Three Mothers. That was one of which was in an antique shop, and then another was like in a library. But either way, both of these girls who find this book read about the 3 mothers who are like, it talks about like the story of them, and it talks about like the 3 keys to them, and how they can like find, discover the secret of the 3 mothers. Essentially, I mean, I didn't like read that close into that part of it, but essentially it's like telling like a tale of like the 3 mothers and like their history. And their history is that they are a part of this building that's this one of these women is living in. And so as a result of that, they start trying to like figure out the clues, but before they can really figure anything out at all, this person who lives there kills this girl to prevent her from like discovering the secret. And I believe that person was the mother of Shadows, who was like essentially doing anything to stop them from like discovering what was going on with this special apartment building. And they keep getting killed, and it sucks. Very, very brutal killing, doesn't hold back. And then finally, this girl's brother comes to the house, and eventually he's the only one left, and he finally discovers the secret because it was under the soles of his shoes, which meant it was like underneath the floor. And so he figures it out, and he finds this place where this old guy was that he had seen. And the old guy had basically become like a slave to the house, and he was like serving them, serving this mother. The mother who is here was the mother of darkness, because that's what's represented in this movie. But essentially, the three mothers, were living, were being able to survive within the fabric of the very house, and the old man was like acting as the house's like servant. So he was essentially like the three mothers' servant, and the mother had like her own like form that she showed, and she eventually just reveals herself to be Death, because that's just what she is. I don't even know. And yeah, and this guy just has to like do whatever he can to escape. I mean, it's all pretty crazy. I mean, I have no idea if I told all that correctly. There's probably something I missed, probably something that's slightly off, but I told it the best I could. But yeah, essentially that's what it is, I guess. But yeah, I really like this movie. It's really good throughout, and especially with all of like the horror moments, pretty great too. There's a really good score throughout this whole movie that we see. It's kind of like an old school like classical score, and then there's also like this like upbeat like 80s score that we also hear. That's very memorable, I'd say, and also pretty good. I just gotta say, they this is like a minor thing, and it doesn't really impact the movie that much. I mean, it kind of does, but not really. Like, they have like cats in this movie, and they show them like being like mean and like hurting people, and then like this guy like wants to kill them basically, and like he tries to kill them. He does kill them, which is just like so sad, and just like why are you gonna be like cruel to animals like that? Like, come on, cats aren't that bad. Like, why are you doing that to those cats? And like, I feel like this is like a whole different topic, but I feel like there's like there's like a half of people who think that like cats are like the demon spawn of the world, and then like the other half actually know that most cats can actually be really nice. But like, this movie kind of like takes the side of thinking like, oh, cats are all like bad and they want to like hurt you, because at one point there's literally like 10 cats literally like scratching this person's face to death, as this like guy comes in to kill her. So it just paints like a very bad picture of cats, which I dislike. Again, it doesn't really impact the movie that much, but just kind of sucks to see as someone who has cats. And you know, dogs can be vicious too. There's vicious dogs out there that are shitty to have, but that doesn't mean all dogs are vicious. And same thing goes for cats. Not all cats are vicious. You know, a lot of cats are really nice and kind. So I just hate seeing that like stereotype. This guy does end up getting killed by rats, as a result of killing these cats. Like, I guess it was like karma, which I guess was like kind of nice, but also like still, man, you killed those cats. Like, fuck, man. He literally like took like a bag of cats and he like held them and he like drowned them all underwater. Ugh, like that's really shitty. And then like he gets killed by this like guy with like a knife, and he gets like eaten alive by rats. You're like, oh my god. And that part of the movie was so weird to me, because that part of the movie was so like it was so like irrelevant from like the rest of the story. It was just like this random side thing that happens at one random time where he goes to kill these cats and then gets killed. One other thing is that like I noticed like the blood in a lot of these movies, like Suspiria and Inferno, like is like different looking. It's like bright red. Like some movies make their blood look a lot different. In this one, it's like bright red. It's almost like weird. You get to see some like cool like scenery, with Dario Argento, because if you've been a fan of Dario Argento, you know that he likes to use like specific colors in his shots. And this one is like that because he does have like red in certain places and blue in certain places. Like in the apartment building, a lot of like the walls of the house are like red. So that's something cool to note. So yeah, that's gonna be it for my review though. What to rate this movie? This movie is really hard to rate because there's just when you really like think about the whole plot overall as I told it, you kind of go like, wow, okay. But at the same time, like the movie was like pretty fun to watch. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it an 8.1 out of 10. I feel like that's a little generous, but I think it deserves it. So yeah. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like if you have, and I'll see you guys in the next one.